is to make God more like the God of the Quran, whom Omar Khayyam, the famous Persian poet, said, "'Tis all a checkerboard of night and days, where destiny with men as pieces plays. Hither and thither, checks and mates and slays, and one by one, back in the closet lays." That is not the God of the Bible.
No, definitely is not, and I'm glad that that's not what we believe, and I feel sorry for anyone who feels under any kind of obligation to make it sound like that is the God that we believe in.
That's the God of Islam, who is so sovereign that he can act contrary to his very nature if he wishes. If he wants, he can just love some people and hate other people. The God of the Bible, by his very nature, must love all. You cannot be all loving and not love all people. That leads us to a very important illustration, one that my traditional Calvinist friends don't like, but they don't really know what to do with except to make it more powerful illustration than I did to begin with.
I have a feeling, it's been a while since I listened to this, it's been almost 6 months since we started this, but I have a feeling this is the boys in the pond illustration. I'm not sure of that. Let's see if it is.
Here is what a 5-point Calvinist really believes. He really believes that it's like this. A farmer had a pond, and the neighborhood boys were wont to swim there, and he didn't want them to drown, so he put up a fence and put up a sign, "Don't swim." One day he was driving back in his field. 3 neighborhood boys were in a pond, drowning. The farmer pulled up on his tractor. He folded his arms. He pointed up to the sign and said, "The sign says, don't trespass, don't swim here. You're swimming here, you're drowning, you deserve to drown." He folded his arms and watched all 3 boys drown. Now, would anyone say that that was a loving 3 boys drown? Now, would anyone say that that was a loving person? I think not. That's precisely what the 5-point Calvinist believes God can and could have done. Because God gave his law, we disobeyed his law, and we all deserve to go to hell, and God didn't have to try to save anyone.
Now, did you catch that? I think I'll stop here because I do have to get to a caller before the end of the program, but did you catch that? It sounds to me like what Dr. Geisler is saying is that the nature of God would have precluded him from ever being simply just. Now, I would say that it was God's intention to demonstrate the entire range of his attributes, and that therefore he chooses to demonstrate both his justice and holiness as well as his mercy and his love. But it sounds to me like Geisler is actually saying God is constrained. Constrained. So that he has to do it in that way. That's what it sounded like. So what we'll do next time, maybe on Thursday, if I get in, all depends, is I'll pick up there. We'll replay that story because it is good to go through Geisler's illustration. It has been refuted many times by numerous people, but he just keeps using it because I just don't think that he doesn't listen to the refutations that are offered of him. So we're exactly 44 minutes in there, so I'll pick up at that point as well. Let's go ahead.